What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sports Chat with DJ Matt. I'm DJ Matt. As always, I'm joined by DJ Echo.
Yo, what up?
We have some technical problems, so DJ Echo's face is not on this thing.
But just know I am still here.
He is here with his voice, his angelic voice.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so before we get to our list, because we have today's our top favorite sports franchises. That's our list this week. But we're gonna talk some news first. Get into some news. So the first thing is the sports is gonna come back pretty soon. The NHL has announced their plan to do a 24-team playoff. They're gonna go straight to the playoffs with 24 teams, which is more than what they normally do. So that's interesting. So they're getting ready to come back. The NBA is still talking about what they're going to do. As of right now, it seems as if they're going to be playing it all in Orlando, Walt Disney World in Orlando. Now, how they're going to do it, that's the question. Are they going to do straight to playoffs? Are they going to have some regular season? But what do you think they should do, Echo? What's the way you want them to go?
I think the best thing to do would be as much as a Pelicans fan, I hate to say this, but I think that they should just go straight to the playoffs. And instead of doing a Western Conference and Eastern Conference, I think that they should just seed it 1 through 16 and just do it like that. Instead of breaking it up into Eastern and Western Conference, I think you do 1 through 16. I personally think that would be the best way to go, because then you don't have to force teams like Sacramento, New York Knicks, New Orleans Pelicans. You don't have to force these players to have to go through this rigorous, be in Orlando for an extended amount of time, because with the coronavirus, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to be at Orlando, and they can't leave Orlando. They're going to have to stay there the entire time. So instead of forcing the entire NBA to do that, I'm sure that they would love to play. But the thing that makes the most sense to me is just all the players that were in the playoffs right now, just stay in the playoffs. And you just start with the playoffs. Maybe I don't know, maybe you can have a couple exhibition games, get them ready to go. But I don't think that you need to bring the entire league to Orlando.
Okay, so my point of view is that I don't care how they do it as long as they have something. I'm happy with whatever they decide. I just want to see sports again. But with the NHL doing where they expanded the playoff field, that's very interesting. The fact that, why not just do that? But I was thinking it's more of a problem for the Western Conference than the Eastern Conference in terms of the playoffs, because in the East, the Magic are in the 8th spot, and the team closest are the Wizards, and they're 5.5 games back. So there's probably no chance that the Wizards were even going to make the playoffs. So the East playoff field is pretty much set. But in the West, you have 3 teams that are 3.5 spots out. So I was thinking you do a 4-team tournament between the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, and the Kings. Just do a quick 4-team tournament. The winner of that tournament gets the 8th spot. And then you just go 1 through 16 through the playoffs. That's what I'd like to see happen. Because I feel like with Damian Lillard, I don't know if you saw the quotes that he made of that if he has to come back and play and he doesn't have any chance to make the playoffs,
He's not
then he's not
playing.
going to play. So the NBA doesn't want players sitting out because they don't want to play, So I think they should do a tournament like that, a quick little tournament maybe, to kind of introduce us back into basketball. The winner of that tournament goes to the playoffs, and you do the 1 through 16 playoffs. And I like that idea because of the Nets and Lakers matchup, which I do want to see.
I like it. But this is the only problem with that. And it was something that they were talking about on ESPN about NHL. With the NHL, they're gonna have like an exhibition tournament between like the top 4 teams in each conference, just like for seeding. And what someone was saying, it was like those players are not going to be as prepared as some of the other teams. You think about it this way: if you have a 4-team tournament between the Grizzlies, between the Trailblazers, between the Pelicans, and the Kings, if you have a 4-team tournament between those, they will have had competitive games played before they really go into the playoffs. So at that point, the 8th seed or 16th seed has kind of like an unfair advantage, because these other teams would not have played any competitive basketball up until this point.
Yeah, but the way I see that is, though, they're not going to go far into the playoffs.
I understand that, but still, it's still a point to be made.
True. Another thing too is that everyone's saying that like this year's champions is gonna be an asterisk next to their name, like it doesn't count. I say BS to that because what's gonna happen is gonna be Lakers Bucks probably, which was gonna happen whether or not the coronavirus would have happened. So I think the winner would be the winner. Like I feel like not much will change in that area. So why would you
I
put it in games?
I think that an asterisk would need to be put if like a good chunk of the season hadn't been played.
Yeah, that's
But most of the season had been played through. It wasn't like 5 games had been played, coronavirus struck, and then, oh, let's go to the playoffs. Most of the games had been played. It was kind of obvious at the point in time whenever it stopped who was going to the playoffs. We kind of had a general gist. We knew who the top 4 teams were, who had the biggest chances of going.
mm-hmm.
So, no, I 100% agree with you that there should not be an asterisk put next to the team because, look, you still have a playoff to go through. It's not like we're handing the championship to the Lakers or the Bucks. They still have to go through the playoff process to get a chance at the chip.
And another thing too, if they do a 1 through 16 seeding, and let's just say it's a Lakers Clippers NBA Finals, I mean, oh my God,
That would be pretty cool.
that'd be amazing. You know,
Yeah.
but LA fans should not complain, but whoever wins that, you know what I mean?
No, because I mean, LA's getting a chip if that
Win
happens.
either way, LA. Like book the parade already.
Yeah, shut up.
um, yeah. So like I said, I really don't care how they do it as long as it comes back. You know, I would like to see those teams that I mentioned get a chance. You know, but like I said, if they go straight to the playoffs, I'm cool with it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna complain really. But I just do want to see. Because I mean, you gotta have Zion play. I mean, come on.
He'll have plenty more chances to play.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Because if there's a second wave and the NBA is coming back during flu season, I mean, who knows?
Well, they won't do anything for flu season.
No, but they're saying that a second wave of the virus might happen
I'll
though.
just I'll just I'll just I'll just keep my mouth shut.
I mean, we won't know till then that point. That's like months away, but still, you gotta look at it. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick before we get to the list, Cam Newton's still without a team, but yet an injured Joe Flacco gets a team in New York. So there's that. I just don't understand. The one team that really needs a quarterback is New England. I just don't understand why they don't get Cam Newton. I just don't. As a GM, why wouldn't you?
Well, with the whole Joe Flacco thing, I think he was being more signed as a backup than anything to Sam Darnold. I don't think that they're bringing on Joe Flacco to play and be a starter. Like he's just being brought in more as a teacher for Sam Darnold, and on top of that, just in case Sam Darnold goes down again with whatever. Cam Newton, whenever he gets signed, he's going to be a starter with whatever team that he goes to. So it kind of makes more sense that he hasn't been signed yet, as opposed to a guy like Joe Flacco, who would be a someone who would ride the bench and would be more of a mentor. And I think the thing with Cam Newton is what I've said is the fact that he is a not necessarily a run first quarterback, but he is a running quarterback that, unlike Lamar Jackson, is will will get hit. He will go to the defender, and Lamar won't get hit. He'll juke out the defender. He'll run out of bounds. He'll do something, but he doesn't want to take that big hit. Cam Newton has no problem with taking the big hit, and same thing with Michael Vick. Michael Vick only played one full season his entire career, and I think that people are kind of weary of signing a guy like that because you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Yes, I understand that Cam Newton is a tremendous quarterback, but let's say he gets hit and he's done for the season, and you're back to where you were before you signed him, and you still have to pay him on top of that.
But why won't you just sign him to a 1 year deal though? You don't have to sign him to a 5 year deal. Whoever said you had to sign him 5 years, you can sign him 1 year. And if it works out, you sign him, you give him an extension.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but I think right now, especially with a team like New England, they say we'll just go with what we have instead of taking a risk. Which I mean, Belichick is known for taking risks, but I don't know, like.
Well, here's the deal with this with New England though. This is my point. Is that okay? There's a possibility that Jared Stidham is really good. We don't know, but it's possible that he's really good. But what if he doesn't pan out? I don't think New England's going to be bad enough to get the 1 seed. I don't think they'll get the one. I mean, not the 1 seed, the number 1 pick.
Number one pick. Yeah, not with a team like Jacksonville.
That's what I'm saying. So you're not going to tank for Trevor Lawrence. So in the quarterback class this upcoming year is not as strong as this year's.
Yeah, outside of Trevor, there's really
So
nothing.
my theory is actually that there's rumors that Aaron Rodgers probably won't finish his career in Green Bay. I have a feeling if Jarrett Stidham doesn't work out and Aaron Rodgers becomes available, I think New England goes after Aaron Rodgers. That's just my
I
thing.
I mean,
But
that would be a smart thing to do on their part.
but here's the question though: would you rather? Because Aaron Rodgers maybe has 3 or 4 years left of playing, give or take, right? So would you rather 3 or 4 years of A-Rod, or would you rather have maybe 6 or 7 years of Cam Newton, Cam Newton's pretty much entering his prime? Aaron Rodgers is on the back end of his. Like, what would you rather? You know what I mean? You can't really go wrong, but I mean, but who would? But longevity, or do you want just because in 3 years you'll be back to where you were? You know?
Um, I don't know. That's kind of a hard call. It all depends on what your team is built like right now, and New England is still kind of built in a win now mode. I mean, I know that they don't have Tom Brady anymore, but like, I mean, that team did just go to the playoffs. It's not like they're coming off of a 6-11, whatever season. They did just go to the playoffs. Now, granted, they got bounced by the Tennessee Titans, but they did just go to the playoffs. They still got a pretty good defense.
Their defense deserves most of the credit for them making the playoffs this year. And they didn't get really any new weapons anyway. So, like, you're putting Jarrett Stidham out there with weapons that are really not that good. You know what I mean? Except for Julian
Yeah.
Edelman, who else do you have?
Uh, Nobody.
So if
Yeah.
Jarrett Stidham does do good, credit to Jarrett Stidham with the cast he has, But I think he's gonna be mediocre at best. I think he's gonna be like middle of the pack quarterback, honestly.
Yeah, I think this year is going to decide whether or not New England is out of rebuilding or if they go into rebuilding. Because if Stidham does not pan out, then I think that they go into rebuilding mode. And if he pans out even a little bit, then they'll be safe. But other than that, I don't know.
Because here's the deal: I think, is gonna own this division for the next two
Oh,
or 3 years, and
yeah,
then Miami's gonna come up with Tua. I think
yeah.
you got Buffalo for about 2 or 3 years, then Miami for about maybe another 2 or 3 years, or they'll back and forth it. Buffalo
Man,
and Miami back and forth.
AFC East fans have got to be pretty happy right now.
I'm happy. I would like for the Bills or the Dolphins to be like really good, you know.
But not
Because
the Jets. The Jets are good.
I mean, I would like the Jets to win too, but the Jets are nowhere near these other three teams. I think Miami has had a great offseason. I
Oh
think
yeah,
Buffalo had a good offseason. So I think those two teams are definitely on the rise with New England falling. New York is just too many question marks with New York, you know?
right. Yeah.
And Sam Darnold really hasn't panned out the way everyone thought he would. He's kind of like a higher graded Mitchell Trubisky. Like he's not as bad.
Ooh,
Not as bad. Don't get me wrong. He's Sam Darnold's good, but he's not like he should be. You know
what
what I
a
mean?
compliment.
I mean, I'm just saying he could be like that. So who knows? Joe Flacco might take his job. Who knows?
It's possible, but
They brought in Nick Foles in Chicago,
yeah.
and Joe Flacco was a Super Bowl MVP. He has one. So, I mean, that's a hot take right there. Joe Flacco takes Sam Darnold's job. Hot take.
Oof.
Boom. I said it first. um, so want to get into this list now.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So our top 10 favorite sports franchises. Do you have any honorable mentions you want to list first?
No, I just want to point out that I did throw in some college teams.
Oh, I see. I didn't do that. See, because I did professional. I didn't do college.
However, I didn't just throw in the college. I wasn't just like, oh,
Yeah.
UCF.
You specialize the sport that they.
I specify the sport.
Because I was thinking that could be a list we could do, like our favorite sports colleges, like for whatever sport, like favorite football colleges or basketball colleges or something. That'd be a list we
Yeah.
could. But that's interesting. Okay, I just stuck to the professionals.
Because my thing is it's like whenever you're you know, whenever you're a sportsman and in your state, you've got some good college teams. It's kind of hard to not be like, yeah, that's my favorite team. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
anyway, no honorable mentions. I just went with 10 teams. If I'm being honest, like outside of Louisiana sports, there's not too many teams that I'm like, yeah, I mean, I know a football team that's gonna appear on this list. It's probably gonna be pretty high up for you, but I don't feel that way about many other sports franchises outside of Louisiana. But I came together with a list.
Yeah. Well, see me. If I would have did colleges, I would have LSU and Nichols up at the top two with my up there. But
Yeah.
I have some honorable mentions that I'm just gonna fire off.
All
I
right.
I'm not a sports hater. I'm a sports lover. I don't hate many sports franchises. There's only a handful that I hate. For the most part, I like pretty much all of them except for a few. So I'm just going to list off a lot of team names right now that didn't make the list, but teams I do root for on occasion. So I have the Dodgers, I have the Yankees, Golden Knights, Broncos, the Marlins, the Steelers, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Spurs, the Brewers, Seahawks, and the Grizzlies. Those are my honorable mentions. Teams I root for.
All right. Honorable mentions are nothing. All right. We're ready to go.
All right, what's your number 10?
Number 10, hailing from the great state of Florida.
Ooh.
It is a basketball team, the Miami Heat.
Yay.
Miami Heat. First off, last year's jerseys, the black one with the blue and pink accents,
Vice
probably
Versa.
one of my favorite jerseys I've seen
Those are
from any sports franchise. Those have got to be my favorite. I remember back whenever it was the big three of LeBron and Wade and Bosh, I really liked watching the Heat, them going up against the Spurs, them going up against the Thunder. And I still like them. The fact that they really don't have right now a big name. I mean, Jimmy Butler is a pretty big name, but he's not a LeBron James, Giannis, Kevin Durant type name. And yet they're still a really good team. They're still in contention right now. I think that they've done a phenomenal job over the last few years building a wonderful team. And honestly, I've got to applaud the Miami Heat for having such a good team and not having a quote unquote superstar on there.
Yeah, we'll get to them later for me. But my number.
Oh yeah. I figured as much.
Yeah, my number 10 is the Los Angeles Angels. I love the Angels.
Ooh.
Mike Trout is probably my favorite baseball player. And Shohei Ohtani's one of the best hitters / pitchers. Like he's dual threat in that way, although he's had some injuries. And they also have Albert Pujols, who's about to retire pretty soon. But I want Mike Trout to win a championship. He's like one of those players that like are too good not to win. But the Angels have kind of been mediocre despite Mike Trout. But I still like to root for them. I just like the Angels. So Angels are my 10.
All right. Coming in at number 9, switching over from basketball to football. We've got a team hailing from the great state of New York. And this one's kind of weird, but my number 9 favorite team is the New York Football Giants. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I've always liked the Giants. Of course, they beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowls. Thank God for Eli Manning. But I don't know. The Giants are just one of those teams that, I just can't help but root for them. I just watched them play. I'm like, man, I just can't help but root for them. Unlike the Knicks, unlike the Browns, those are just like, yeah. Like maybe Detroit is the only other team that can kind of be like, oh, but the Giants, as of recently, with Saquon, they had Odell. It's just like, man. But I don't know. The Giants were one of those teams that if I wasn't watching the Saints, I'd be okay with watching a Giants game. I don't know why. That's just how it was.
Yeah. All right. I'm surprised. I didn't know you liked the Giants like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great. My number 9 is another baseball team, the Houston Astros. Now this one's tough for me because, I mean, as much as I give the Patriots hate for them cheating, the Astros have been caught cheating. They're cheaters. It hurts my heart, but I still like them. I mean, because they're the closest professional baseball team we have in New Orleans, And, I'm a big Alex Bregman fan since he played at LSU, third baseman. He's one of my favorite players in the league as well. And, Jose Altuve and all of them, I mean, it sucks that they were caught cheating, but, I still like them. I mean, it makes me hypocritical, I guess, because of my hate for the Patriots, but
Yeah.
I mean, I just,
Yeah, but to be fair, you're already a Houston Astros fan before all this came out.
Yeah. So that's my number 9.
Number 8, we're not switching sports. We're staying in the NFL. We're going from the city lights of New York to the desert of Arizona. That's right. Number 8 is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, yes, you may call me an Arizona Cardinal bandwagon fan. I do like the Cardinals for this season. However, I have always liked the Cardinals, and I'll always remember whenever the Saints went to the Super Bowl and we played the Cardinals in the divisional, and they just lit up Kurt Warner. Oh my God! But actually, I think I've always liked the Cardinals. They went to the Super Bowl the year before, and they were so close to winning. But the Cardinals is just another one of those teams that like I just like watching. I don't know. I just like watching the Cardinals play.
You know what though? I mean, look, I don't have the Cardinals listed, but they'd probably be an honorable mention for me. I do like. I've always liked the Cardinals as well. Um,
Out of your abundance of honorable mentions, let's throw another one in there.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't. I like the Cardinals. I like where they're going now with Kyler Murray and the talent they got with DeAndre Hopkins. They're definitely on the rise, and I don't. I like the Cardinals a lot. I really do. So that's a good pick, actually. So my
Mm.
number 8, we're going to switch to basketball. I have the Dallas Mavericks.
Ooh, yeah, I knew that they would make an appearance.
Yes, yes, the unicorn. And Luca needs a nickname. Do we have a nickname for Luca yet? We need a nickname for Luca.
I don't know. I don't know. I just call Luca literally your favorite basketball player because you just can't stop gushing about him.
I mean, he's great. I mean, he's great.
Luca, that I feel like every single time we talk about the Dallas Mavericks, you're over here singing his praises,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
mean are deserved, but still
yeah. But I mean, with Dallas, I mean, I've liked ever since the Dirk days. Whenever, like I said, Dirk won a championship against the Big Three.
by himself,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
that's very impressive. All
Yeah.
things considered, and I've liked Dallas ever since, really. So I don't. I'm not a diehard Dallas fan, but like I love to root for them. I think they're a fun team, and like I said, they're another team that's also on the rise, and expecting great things out of them. So that's my number 8.
All right. My number 7 is a basketball team. We're going back over to the NBA. Where am I going to go with this? Where am I going to go with this? At number 7, the Brooklyn Nets. That is right. The Brooklyn Nets. First off, I love the Brooklyn Nets because of just how much fun they seem to have. All the clips of them just dancing on the sidelines with D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, ooh, one of my favorite basketball players actually playing right now. I think he's fun to watch. But I like how Brooklyn is like the New York Knicks are such this big franchise, and yet you have the Brooklyn Nets that are so much better, but they're just not as big of a name as New York. And I gotta respect Brooklyn for that. They got Kyrie, they got KD. They were like, oh, the Knicks, you thought you were getting them? Nah, they're coming over to Brooklyn. So I respect them for that. I mean, Kyrie can be kind of a drama queen, and so can KD. But you know what? I mean, on the court, you can't ignore their production. So number 7, I've got the Brooklyn Nets.
That's a good pick too. I like the Nets as well. So my number 7 is another New York team,
Oh,
the Giants.
hey, Giants make an appearance on both of our lists.
Yeah. The Giants. I've been a fan since that first Super Bowl with Eli Manning when they beat the Patriots. Oh, so great.
Yeah, so
And we were like what 7 or 8 years old when that happened. Even at 7 or 8, we don't fully understand football, I guess, the way we do now. And there's just something about the Patriots I just hated off the bat. So I was
yeah,
rooting for the Giants anyway. And then the fact that they did win, I was like, yay! And then you find out like they were cheating. The Patriots were
they're like,
cheating.
yay!
Like Eli Manning all the way, man. So, but so like I'm a huge Giants fan. Like I mean, they're just amazing, and to root for. It's just the last couple of years have been tough, and I really am critical of their coaching hires. Really, I'm able to look past Joe Judge. I can get over that, but hiring Jason Garrett to me was stupid. I mean, I think that's a bad move. I do. I mean, I mean, come on. And you're gonna hire somebody within your division that what I mean. I just don't like that move, and that's the one thing I'm not looking forward to. I don't think the Giants are gonna be that good next year. Honestly, I think Daniel Jones and Saquon are gonna be good, but the team itself won't be. But I'm still gonna root for them because I'm a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan since 2007, and I'll stay a Giants fan probably for the rest
Day
of my life,
one, since day
no matter
one.
if they win or lose. You know, that's my number 7.
All right. Coming in, number 6. We're going to stay in the NBA, but we're not staying in America. We're going to Canada. Number 6, the Toronto Raptors. First off, only basketball jersey that I have, a Toronto Raptors Vince Carter jersey.
Yeah, it's a
A,
nice.
because one of the sickest jerseys in the game. B, good on them, for just winning a championship like they did. They grabbed Kawhi, they had him for a year, and they made the best of it. I say good for that. I'm happy that they have teams in the NBA outside of just America. I would, I think it's a good thing. I don't think all the teams needs to be outside of America, but I think it's good for the sports franchises to have something, like the NBA does in Toronto. The MLB has something in Toronto as well. The NFL could have something in Canada or across the seas. I think that would be cool. Across the seas would be a little bit harder to pull off. But I think it's just cool to have something in another country. You just know Canada, all of Canada. That's the good thing about them only having one team is like all of Canada can get behind the Raptors,
Yeah,
and they're
great.
they're still a good team even without
It's great.
Kawhi.
The best thing about home Raptor games is seeing Drake on the sidelines. That's the best thing about the Raptors game. Seriously.
Yeah, Drake just makes it so much better.
Look, Kawhi Leonard became the best player in that franchise's history, and it only took him 1 year.
Yeah, yeah, straight up, straight up.
No disrespect to Vince Carter. Vince Carter is probably second.
One guy, Kawhi.
That's a good pick. So my number 6 is another football team in another cold place, Green Bay Packers. Green
Ooh,
Bay Packers was probably the first NFL team other than another team on the list that I fell in love with. I was been a fan since I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, the Brett Favre days. They've always been consistent, and I just always liked them. And Aaron Rodgers, is a great quarterback. Rooting for him is great. Although I'm kind of sad to see that he's probably going to be out the door pretty soon. But I have hope for Jordan Love. But they've been just a consistent team really for the last 20 years. Really, they've been really consistent. They haven't really sucked. Some years have been better than others, but they've been really consistent. And I've just been rooting for them ever since I was a really, really small kid. So they're just a team that I've always loved.
that pick honestly surprised me because I like all the other picks so far have made sense up until this point. I've never really heard you talk so avidly about the Packers.
Yeah, there was a point in like fifth grade, fourth grade, whenever I had to do like a project or something, like a big old project. We had to make like a big old poster board and whatnot. And a lot of the guys, the boys, would do like athletes. They would chronicle athletes' histories and stuff. I was gonna do Aaron Rodgers. The only problem was I couldn't do Aaron Rodgers because there wasn't enough books on him yet. You can only use like one internet source, and we needed like 5 books. And I couldn't do Aaron Rodgers because he was at that time he was still kind of. This was like 2011, so he might have just won the Super Bowl or something.
Well,
But
yeah,
like
well, 2011 was the year they won the Super Bowl.
something like that, yeah. So like he was still kind of not new to the game, but like there wasn't a lot of books written about him yet to do research on. So I couldn't do him. But that was me, my guy. I was gonna do my project on. But I did do a project on Peyton and Eli Manning though. I did do that project. But I was almost about to do an Aaron Rodgers one, and I didn't get a chance to do it.
All right, we're coming in, moving in to the top 5. For me personally, we are leaving the professional scene and we are heading over to college ball. I think this one might surprise you, but we are headed to the great state of North Carolina for my number 5, Duke basketball.
Ooh, I thought it would say Tar Heels.
No. I do like myself some Duke basketball.
You know what? The Duke is my favorite college basketball team too. I'm not gonna lie. So I agree with you on that. Duke
Yeah,
beat.
I like it's kind of weird because I hate dominant teams like the Patriots, for example, but Duke is dominant enough. Like it's weird. They're like in this middle point to where like that they've always got a shot at the chip every year, but like they don't always win like the Patriots. It doesn't feel like they're always winning or they're always even in the championship game. And I mean, Duke has produced so many good players. I mean, just off the top of my head, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett. So yeah, they've produced so many good players. So Duke is one of those teams that's just fun to watch. I would kill to go to a Duke basketball game, especially Duke versus UNC. I would love to go to
Yes, please. I
those.
would love to go to that. I would love to do that.
Yeah, Duke basketball at my number 5.
You know what's impressive about college sports, especially those teams, like even in football as well, college football, like these teams that are always winning. It's not like they have the same players every year. Every year there's different players. So the fact that they're
Yeah.
all winning with different players every year is really impressive.
Yeah,
It really is.
it's because of the program, it's because of the
And
coaches, the
especially
environment.
in college basketball, where like basically you pretty much freshmen they leave after their freshman year, right? So you're
Yeah,
basically playing freshmen, and they're always like that's really impressive for all these top programs. Like that's a
yeah,
tribute to the coaching and the scouting. So it's really
hmm
impressive college sports. The fact that
yeah,
especially the dominant teams. So I will throw that out there. So my
hmm
number 5, we're gonna go back to baseball. My favorite baseball team, the Atlanta Braves. Um,
Hey,
my mom's side of the family are huge Braves fans. Like my great grandmother, I believe, was a big Braves fan, and so like I just always watched the Braves game. Like that was like the one baseball team we would always watch when I was a kid was the Braves. And Chipper Jones is one of my favorite baseball players of all time, third baseman. And the Braves now have Ronald Acuna Jr. and Josh Donaldson, I believe, is still on the roster in Atlanta. And Atlanta is a solid team. They've had some down years, but they're starting to rise again and starting to become a consistent franchise again. And I'm excited about that. So they're just my favorite baseball team.
yeah. Fun fact: my dad is actually a big Atlanta Braves fan.
We like Atlanta sports. It's weird.
I yeah, but I also hate Atlanta sports.
Yeah, I hate Atlanta sports, but I love Atlanta sports.
All right, coming in at number 4. We're making the appearance of the only Major League Baseball team on my list. That's right. There is a Major League Baseball team. I know that you didn't think that there was going to be one, but there is, in fact, a Major League Baseball team on my list. They are hailing from the great state of Illinois.
Ooh,
The Chicago
White Sox.
Cubs.
Oh,
Nope, the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs are my favorite baseball team,
wow.
mainly because of my stepdad. He is a huge Chicago Cubs team. I always remember the year that they won the World Series. I walked into this bedroom, he was just bawling.
After a
It,
century of not winning.
after a century of not doing jack, they go and they win it. A couple years before, they were projected with the team that they had, and they're still, as far as I'm aware, they're still kind of in the hunt for the playoffs at least. But yeah, the Cubs are one of those teams that the biggest, probably the biggest underdog story in baseball over the past 100 years. Of course, now that's kind of gone, but still, they're the only baseball team that I will watch and or root for.
That's fair. You ever watch that movie? I think it's Rookie of the Year. I think it is. I believe, where like they have a kid that becomes the pitcher of the Cubs or something. I don't know if you ever watched that movie.
No, the only baseball movie that I've watched is Field of Dreams.
You never watched The Sandlot?
Only baseball movie I've watched is Field of Dreams.
Oh, you gotta watch Sandlot. Sandlot's better than Field of Dreams. Real talk.
Okay.
But okay. So my number 4 is the Miami Heat. Been a Heat fan since the Big Three. Here's the thing with bandwagons. When I get on a bandwagon, I don't really jump off. Even when it's I don't jump off. Like I'm
At least
serious.
you admit that you jump on bandwagons.
No, I like the Browns bandwagon. I jumped on that, and I haven't gotten off yet. Like I'm like
Yet, yet,
I
yeah,
get
yet.
like once I become a fan of a team, I pretty much stay a fan unless they do something really really dumb that make me not like them. You know what I mean? So I've liked Miami Heat since the Big Three, LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, and like you said, they've always been pretty consistent, even though they didn't have always the biggest stars after the Big Three. And I think Miami in the next couple of years will be, one of the best teams in the East, even though they already are one of the best teams in the East, but like even better.
Yeah, if Giannis leaves the Bucks, then they'll definitely.
I would love that. Him and Jimmy Butler with Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn and Goran. Well, do they still have Goran Dragic? I think they do.
Oh yeah, yeah. If Giannis goes to the Heat, that's game over. They're going to the finals
I
like
mean, yeah.
every year.
I mean, like I said, he's been one of the most consistent teams in the NBA, and I'm just been a fan of them for the last 10 years. So, love the Heat.
Yeah. All right, we're headed into the top 3. And for me, at least, we are not going to be leaving the state of Louisiana anymore. That's right. My top 3 favorite teams are all hail from the state of Louisiana. What can I say? I like my home state. So where am I going to rank them?
Interesting.
Number 3, I've got to put the Pelicans. Pelicans are going to go at number 3. Obviously, hometown basketball team. I remember back whenever they were the Hornets and Chris Paul was playing for
Yeah.
them. I went to one of those games. It was pretty cool. Chris Paul is another one of those guys that I'll never hate watching. I like Chris Paul. I remember them, and then they got Anthony Davis, and he was here, and now we've ushered in the Zion Williamson years that we're gonna have with him. And even though they've only been to the playoffs a couple times and they haven't really gotten far, I still believe in them. I still root for them. Still cheer for them. I think they're putting together a really good team. And I think trading away Anthony Davis has honestly been the best thing that has happened to this franchise in a long time.
Yeah, that's crazy how that worked out. It really is. It's mind-boggling. You got to kiss David Griffin's feet. That's all I got to say. Honestly. All right. Well, my number 3 is another basketball team. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah,
Ooh.
I've been a Thunder fan since the Durant, Harden, Westbrook days. It's crazy to think they were all on the same team at one point. Like that's crazy to me. They didn't win. What? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
You had 3 MVP.
yeah, it's crazy. But and they also had Paul George and Carmelo at one point. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, I just like the Thunder because, like I said, they're another one of those teams that are just always consistent. Obviously with Russ at the helm for the most part, keeping it consistent. And even this year with Chris Paul coming in, no one thought they'd be any good, and they're a playoff team. Like so, I mean, they're just those consistent teams that I just like to root for, and I just like Oklahoma City, and they're a small market team, and I root for them.
Yeah. So I think I know what your top 2 is going to be. In what order, I'm not sure, but pretty sure I know.
I
But
don't
we'll
think you
see.
do. I don't think you do.
We'll see. My number 2, I had to put them. They're both football teams, and this was the only one that I had to really think about where I wanted to put it. When it comes down to it, I had to put LSU football at number 2. Obviously, first off, just winning the chip.
Yeah.
We're the champs. Probably the best quarterback in college football history, Joe Burrow. We've produced a lot of talent in the NFL. I think we're top in the list of college teams to have players in the NFL right now. I don't know if we're number 1. I don't think we're number 1, but we're definitely
We're in
top
the
10.
top 5 for sure. I don't know if we're number 1. I
Yeah,
think
top
number
5 for sure. But a lot of our players are NFL players. Obviously LSU, big college in Louisiana. But I put them at second because I think given between my number 1 team and my number 2 team, I'd rather watch a number 1 game. But LSU still holds a special place in my heart, like watching their games. Though whenever they went to the national championship against Alabama, and they did nothing
Yeah,
against Alabama
very
because
disappointing.
it was disappointing. Couldn't even get across the 50-yard line.
Who was even the quarterback? Was that Zach Mettenberger was the quarterback that year? Who was the quarterback that year?
I think the quarterback.
I think it was Mettenberger. I could be wrong.
I don't remember because I remember we had a quarterback, and then
It
I
wasn't
think
Jordan Jefferson, I don't believe.
Les Miles put in Jefferson, I think, instead of the other guy.
Huh.
Maybe it was like Etling or something. I don't remember exactly who the
No,
people
Danny
were.
Etling never went to the championship.
No way, that's right. It might have been Mettenberger. Like he was doing really good throughout the season, and then Les Miles put in Jefferson, and then we didn't do anything in the championship, even though we beat Alabama 9-6 or whatever the final score was
Yeah, I don't know.
that year.
That's ancient history to me. I don't remember really any of that. So my number 2 is the Indianapolis Colts.
I knew it.
Yeah. Big Colts fan. Peyton Manning days, obviously. I started rooting for the Colts really because of Peyton Manning, because New Orleans kid, Louisiana kid. I just, it's cool to see somebody from the state go off and be that successful. It just, I don't know, just makes you feel good, makes you feel proud. And
Makes us feel like we can accomplish something.
yeah, and I just been a Colts fan ever since. And then obviously Andrew Luck. I mean, once Peyton Manning left, they had that terrible season where they went like 2 and whatever, and they drafted Andrew Luck, and I became an instant Andrew Luck fan because I mean he's great, and I wish
Yeah.
he wouldn't have retired. I wish he would have played more because I mean he's that good. I think if he would have kept playing, he'd be maybe a Hall of Famer because I think the Colts could have won a couple of Super Bowls with him, honestly, because they were on that path. So it sucks that he's not playing anymore, but I'm still a Colts fan. I believe in Phillip Rivers, and I think the Colts are going to surprise some people this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think Phillip Rivers is going to have a good year. That's just me. And they have one of the best O-lines, one of the best linebackers in Darius Leonard. T.Y. Hilton is vastly underrated. He was hurt last year, but this year he's going to be back healthy. We got Jonathan Taylor now. I'm just excited, man. The Colts, another one of those teams that have been pretty consistent. I just always love to root for them.
Yeah. Colts are one of those teams. We got to thank them for a Super Bowl victory. We got to thank the Colts for that.
Pat McAfee.
The GOAT, Pat McAfee. How could I forget the greatest punter of all time came from the Colts?
Yep.
So, looking at this list, I think it's obvious who number one is. I mean, if you're watching, and you don't know who number one is, then are you even a sports fan, bro?
You're not gonna jump on the Buccaneers bandwagon, are you? You're gonna say Buccaneers?
My number one favorite team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes.
Yay!
They're gonna do great things this year. They're gonna go 16-0. They're winning the Super Bowl. Minshew Mania, baby.
If any team is gonna move to London, it'd be Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Because they suck.
In all honesty, obviously, New Orleans Saints, number one favorite franchise. I believe that is going to be the same thing with you as well.
I kind of get it.
What?
The number one.
Okay, well, it's there. New Orleans Saints are at number one. I don't know with what team, but they're at number one. Okay, first off, Drew Brees, in my opinion, top 2 greatest quarterback of all time. You want to sit down, you want to talk about rings, I want to talk about stats. And honestly, I think that stats are more important whenever it comes to the game of football. As I've said so many times, rings do not equate success as an individual in the world of football because it is a team sport. There are 11 players on the field. There's not 5. You can't control your aspect of the game. As a quarterback, you can't just throw the ball into the end zone and it scores points. Unlike with basketball, So you got to have people to catch it. You got to have people to block you. I think Drew Brees, the best thing that has happened ever, New Orleans. Thank you to the San Diego Chargers for giving him to us. Thank you to the Miami Dolphins for passing on him. New Orleans Saints. I just always like the Saints. I think I started watching them. They're the first team I watched. I didn't start watching until I think whenever they played the Bears in the conference championship in 2006. I think that's whenever I started watching them.
After Katrina, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big season.
Yeah, to think that they almost went to the Super Bowl and almost played the Colts,
Yeah, either way, they would have had to face the Colts. So, it was destiny. Yeah. That's kind of cool. But imagine that year, though. If we went to the Super Bowl and won it that year, how crazy that would have been.
That would have been the greatest story of all time in sports.
Amazing. I mean, the story we got is pretty good. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But that year, that would have been the best thing in sports ever. Legendary.
Yeah. So. I think Saints are going to the Super Bowl this year.
Yep.
I think we've had 3 years now. If we're not having 4, it's not happening.
If we don't go this year and Drew Brees is more than likely going to retire than this year, I might cry. If we don't go, I'm gonna cry.
I am crying. I'm not gonna might cry. I will. That's a promise.
You might not see me for about 10 days. I'm just gonna be in my room crying. But Yeah, so my number one is also the Saints, but I slash also the Pelicans. I put them at number one. So I feel like it'd be unfair to put them at different spots because I mean those are the two teams we root for. I mean that's our home team, you know. And I feel like I just felt like to put them together. So because I root for them equally, I'm diehard
Yeah.
all the way.
I mean, really for me, like 1, 2, and 3, they're pretty much like tied for one. But the fact that I have Saints, LSU, and then Pelicans is kind of where I would rank them in terms of. But yeah, it's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and then 3 is empty, 2 is empty, and then 1 is Saints, LSU, and Pelicans.
Yeah,
So you know,
that's the way I look at it.
yeah.
So yeah.
Woo!
Yep. Good list.
That's the list,
There's not
folks.
one team on that list that I do not like for you. Like I like all the teams you said.
Yeah,
So
because I'm not one of those people that's like Patriots are number one or Atlanta's the best team. Shut up.
I'm tired of Boston sports. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I like the Celtics. They're the only team in Boston that I like. The other teams can stop. Boston wins way too much. They need to like be banned from winning ever again. Like they have winning for the
The
last.
leagues put out the Donald Trump comes on and he says, "All right, that's it, Boston. You're done from winning. The Celtics are okay, but all other teams, no more."
What? You win re-election easily if you said that.
Yeah.
Go for him then. That's what he's got to say.
Someone call the president, tell him just denounce the Patriots. You will win.
We renounce Boston as a U.S. city.
Done. You've won. That's it.
Good job. But yeah, so good list. So next week's list will be our favorite NBA players. That's gonna be our list next week.
Yeah.
All right, should be exciting. I think. Well, you know pretty much what my list is gonna look like, at least at the top. But you know.
I think Mike can have some curveballs in there, but we'll see. We'll see.
It's
I got what?
It's better than it looks though to make this list to get 10.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, whenever I hear people talk about favorite, I'm like, oh, that should be easy. But whenever you sit down and actually do it, you're like, oh, there's an abundance of teams that you got to pick from.
Yeah, and I like a good variety. I don't like to just pick from like If we're be honest, I'd probably pick 5 players from the Pelicans. But that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not really fair.
Number 5, Drew Holiday.
Oh, that's way too low. What are you talking about number 5? He's number 2.
But yeah, I just last thing. I don't know. This is my last thing. I don't know if you want to talk about anything else, but what do you think after the reports, whether they're true or not, of Dak's contract? What do you think is gonna come out? You think there's gonna be some unworldly new contract to come out, or are they just gonna roll with Andy Dalton?
I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't think Dak is gonna cave. I think the Cowboys are gonna have to cave. I think Dak's gonna stay strong the way he feels. Because honestly, if Dallas is not gonna pay Dak that money, I'm sure another team somewhere is gonna pay him that money. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Dak's. We're talking about leverage, and I mean, I feel like both of them got the same amount of leverage. Like Dallas is gonna be fine without Dak, honestly, because they got Andy Dalton. I think, like I said the other couple of shows ago, that I think they make the playoffs no matter who's quarterback, whether it's Andy Dalton or Dak. I think they're gonna win either way. So they brought in Andy Dalton for the Cowboys to have leverage, but Dak has leverage in the fact that I think going back to New England, I mean, if Dak's available, New England might get him. I mean, that might be more. Yeah, I could see that.
He just walks in the front office. He's like, "Hey, do you want New England to have me? No, I didn't think so. Pay me."
So I have a feeling that we're in a situation where, I think Dallas is going to have to cave before Dak caves. And I think what I heard was that the contract that Dallas was going to give him recently was that like he was going to be like among the top paid quarterbacks in the league. I don't know if he was going to be the most paid, but like top 3 or something of most paid.
I think he was. I don't know if it I
don't remember, but it was a big contract.
This was the contract. It was a 5-year, $175 million contract.
Yeah. I think what they're arguing about is not money anymore. I think they're arguing about the years. That's what I heard. Like,
yeah, Dak wants a 4-year contract. like the one that Carson Wentz signed. And then the Cowboys want to lock him up for 5 years.
This is so easy to fix right now. Give him a 4-year deal, or no, give him a 5-year deal, but the last year of the deal should be a player option, whether he wants to come back or not.
Well, this is
Because look, Dak may not want to be there for 5 years, but maybe at that another 3 or 4 years from now, he might want to stay in Dallas some more. You can have that player option to stay. You know what I mean?
right. Well, well,
Like that's
this
a
well
fair
this
medium.
this is what some people are saying, that if the Cowboys want to sign a 5-year deal, the final year is going to have to be worth $42 to $45 million.
But here's the thing though, that's why you give him the player option. That because there's a possibility that Dak might not want to be there after another 4 years. You know what I mean? Just give him the player option on the 5th year.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why.
I get it, but I don't know. It seems like to me it seems like Dak Prescott is asking for a lot of money when I don't know. I mean, would you put him as a top 10 quarterback in the league right now?
Yeah, I think I would. I don't know if I'll put him top 5, but he's top 10.
I know I would definitely not put him top 5. I think I put him around 10 or 9, but
Yeah.
but the thing is it's like he's getting all this money, and people that are definitely objectively above him on the list of top quarterbacks in the league right now are not getting near that amount of money, are not asking for that amount of money. And
Right.
it's like it seems kind of selfish because Dak is asking for all this money, but you still think they got a handful of people on the Cowboys roster that are gonna have to get paid.
But they kind of paid most of them already. Like they paid Zeke, they paid Amari Cooper, they paid the people they really needed to pay.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, but this is the thing. Whenever the quarterback takes up that chunk of cap space,
yeah.
you're gonna see players that you didn't necessarily have to pay, but they're gonna walk. People on the line, people on the defense, and just because you paid Dak, because you gave into Dak and you paying him $175 million,
Yeah.
I don't know.
If I'm Dak, I'm going to. If I was Dak, and this is just me, my opinion. I mean, here's my idea. Athletes arguing over money to me is kind of stupid. They're getting paid millions of dollars anyway. But I get it that they want to be paid for what they're worth. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions of dollars anyway. Like, why are you complaining? But if I'm Dak, I'm going up to Jerry Jones. I'm saying, just pay me more than Jared Goff. That's all I care about. Just pay
Yeah,
me more than Jared Goff. Because that dude does
yeah.
not hold that contract.
No, no, but it seems like he wants to be paid equally to like whatever Carson Wentz got. But oh my God, like I know you've said it before, but Jared Goff just oh my God.
It just I don't understand that move. Like pay him money, but like don't pay him that much. Like what? Okay, so yeah, like 2 good seasons out of the 4 or 5 years he's been in the league. Yeah, like maybe 2 good seasons, you could say. I mean, where Dak has had 4 great seasons, I think, honestly, statistically.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Hmm.
I should be a GM more than half these guys in the NFL. The stuff they do is so stupid. I just
Yeah.
roll
All
my eyes.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, word of the day. What's the word of the day, Seth?
Gonna make it easy. Gonna make it easy. Comment down below who dat. That's right. Comment down below who dat. That's right. I guess I made it too difficult last time.
You kind of did.
So this time I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna just comment who dat.
You did.
Go Saints. Go Tigers. Go Pelicans. All are acceptable.
Yeah. Who did? Not who day. Not who day. Not who that. It's who dat.
If you, yeah, yeah. Comment who dat. Comment go Saints. Comment go Tigers. Comment go Pels. Whatever you want to comment. Comment it as long as it has something to do with Louisiana sports.
You can comment Patriots suck, Dallas sucks, Atlanta sucks. You can put all that down. Perfect.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. You want to say go Cardinals, go Cardinals.
Yeah,
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Go for
Eat your heart out.
it. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Follow us on Instagram at Sportschat with DJ Matt1. That's the number 1. No spaces. You know the drill. Thank you, sir, for doing this. We'll do it next week. It was so much fun. Good
Hopefully
list.
next week you guys will get to see my beautiful face. Just kidding. Next week you'll get to see my face. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. But thank you again. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. Have a good week.